So I'm out here in the backyard with the hot tent set up, and we have blizzard-like conditions coming overnight into tomorrow morning. So Joanna and I are going to camp out in the hot tent, because what else are you going to do when there's a blizzard coming? And the truth of the matter is, we actually had a camping trip planned to go out into the woods. And I don't mind the bad weather. I'd love to camp out in the bad weather. The problem is coming home tomorrow, when we would be coming home, there's blizzard-like conditions and the potential whiteout stuff. And we're an hour away from the nearest place that we can camp legally, where we were going to go, and that's highway driving. So didn't really want to be driving in a blizzard with my small little car. So the snow is actually supposed to start like any time now. I'm guessing within an hour or two that it'll actually start, just judging by the sky from what I can see. So we got to go ahead and get the wood stove in, and then we're going to get everything else in. We're going to cook up some dinner in there. We're going to have a couple of drinks, of course, and just hang out. And this is going to give an opportunity to Joanna to try out camping in the hot tent as well, because she hasn't done that yet. And we're going to see how the tent will do with 2 people sleeping in there. So the weather that we're supposed to be getting is supposed to include blowing snow, possibly even freezing rain and stuff like that. So the worse the better right now, especially since we're safe at home and everything. I'm excited about it. Let's bring it on and hope that we wake up to something cool in the morning. So the wind is eventually supposed to gust to 70 kilometers an hour. So we've got the guy lines nice and tight. I can say that Joanna is much better at being organized than I am. Look at that. So our outdoor temp is about minus 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we're all settled in. We've got our sleeping stuff all here. I'll give you a quick tour of how we have it set up for 2 people in here in a bit. And we've got our stove set up really good. Joanna did a really good job of setting that up. We're just having a little beverage. I'm having a Ryan Coke, and Joanna's having some red wine and ice, which she's gonna need to refill soon. And we got our carbon monoxide detector here. We're at 13 degrees Celsius and rising right now. With the stove, these small stoves, it's hot and cold. Once the fire starts to die out a little bit, it gets cold quick. So you gotta keep the fire going on a constant basis with these small stoves here. Yeah, we're going to cook some supper right away. The storm hasn't moved in yet. It's already 9:17, so we haven't gotten any snow yet, but we heard just west of us that there's a highway there that's 0 visibility. So we'll see what happens here. We are in the city, so we'll see what happens here. Hopefully, we're going to get a whole crap load of snow. Okay, so here's the setup. Joanna did a really good job. You can see the cinder blocks, and there's wood in the cinder blocks, and there's wood underneath and on top of them. That works really well. There's room at the back there for wood to dry out on the cinder block back there. It wouldn't quite fit onto one cinder block, but one of our subscribers also mentioned that if you could add some mass to the stove somehow, like using bricks or something, you might retain some of that heat a little better. And so actually this cinder block here is getting quite warm underneath there. So that's actually gonna hold some heat for us once the fire dies down a little bit. But again, once the fire does die down, it still gets cool quickly. But with those cinder blocks, it's just not gonna get as cool as quickly, right? The new fan there is just pumping out the air from there, so it's really helping distribute the air a lot in the tent, which was a problem that I noticed before, but it's really working well. Just to give you a quick idea of what it looks like, our stove is right here, and then Joanna is laying right along this side of the tent, and then I'm along the back here, and there is actually plenty of room for 2 people. You could fit another person in here maybe if you wanted to, but it wouldn't be very comfortable. But for 2 people, very spacious, and I like it. Okay, so I'm just going to try and give you another perspective here. This is where Joanna is. Hi, Joanna. This is where she is. And then you can see back there, there's actually a lot of room. We ended up actually putting a tarp down here, so I like that a lot better than just being right on the snow. And then here's my bed here. We've got a table there. That's a container that had some of our camping gear in it. Back there, you can see there's an alcohol storage area there with ice. And then coming over to my area here, there's like actually a lot of room, so a backpack or whatever would be great there. Our dog could go there. Right here's our door, so you can see that there's a lot of room over here too. But again, if you had 3 people in here, it would be pretty crowded. Okay, so it's time to cook some dinner because we're starving. Today's meal is a super complicated camping meal. Don't try this at home. Wow, that was fast. I call this burger a la buffalo. So it's after 11 and I can say I'm disappointed. No snow yet, but I'm confident that we're gonna wake up with it. So we're gonna sit and have a little drink and just relax a little bit, and we'll come back if there anything interesting happens or before we go to bed. So the winds have been picking up a little bit, but we have no snow, and it's supposed to start overnight here towards early morning sometime, so it's good. We are 17.5 degrees Celsius or 63 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's pretty darn good. We are nice and toasty. So a funny thing happened tonight. We heard some knocking outside in our back lane because we're here in the city. And we thought it was just a neighbor, and then the sound moved a little bit, and so it's coming from somewhere else. So I poked my head out there, and there's a truck with a trailer, and they're in my neighbor's yard in their driveway banging at something. So I go out there, what's going on? And so this girl comes out, and she's all like, oh, nothing, it's just us. And I'm like, who are you? You know? And then so I'm like, oh, she's just standing there. So I'm like, what's going on there? The guy comes over, he's like, oh, just chipping something out of the ice. I'm like, out of my neighbor's yard? Like, he's like, oh, it's garbage. So I'm like, it's garbage. Are you sure it's garbage? Like, are you sure you should be taking that? And then they didn't say anything at all. And so I noticed that their license plate number on their trailer on the back of their truck, because they were pulling a trailer, it was, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I repeated it to them so they knew that, and they didn't say anything. And then a minute later, they just got in their truck and drove away. So I think I caught them red-handed trying to steal stuff, so now I got to talk to some of my neighbors and see if anything went missing. And so then I can give the trailer license plate number, because don't steal. I hate that. Anyway, going to bed. See you in the morning with lots of snow, hopefully. Good morning. It's 7:30 and Joanna is awake already. And yeah, it's 6 degrees Celsius in the tent here, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, we're gonna have a look and see what it's like outside. So I did fire up the buddy heater because I didn't want to keep loading the stove up all night every hour and a half, and it did pretty good. I mean, it kept the tent above 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit by the wall, so you can't argue with that too much. You can see I had one sleeping bag and another one, so I was really cozy. So I don't know if you can hear that, but there's some snow coming down a little bit. Yeah, so there's pretty much nothing. So yeah, there's just some little ice pellets coming down. You probably can't even see them on the screen. And about 3 a.m. in the morning too, I heard stuff coming down, and I guess it was probably just ice pellets. I was excited. I was thinking it was gonna snow, and it was gonna snow for a few hours before we got up, but that didn't happen. So it is what it is. No snow, no camping this weekend, but we still got to have a little bit of an adventure in the hot tent. So, I mean, that is better than nothing. And, you know, it wasn't the worst time. It was a good time, me and Joanna hanging out in the tent. So that's the video. Like, subscribe, and remember the most important thing, folks, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.